Get out and vote. September 21st is the election for the city of Ocala. It's nonpartisan, so whether you're a Democrat or a Republican doesn't matter. It's a perfect time for all registered Ocala voters to be heard concerning local issues. Every vote matters. Don't let someone else speak for you by not voting. Apathy about voting has become somewhat of a problem. Get out and vote. Be part of the solution, not part of the problem.
This is Ocala Talks with Tom Schmidt, bringing stories that are important to our community in and around Ocala. Plus, of course, a splash of sports as well. Now, here's your host, Tom.
City beautiful, Ocala, Florida. This week is very important. As we kick off the candidate questions, I will have the candidates for City Council District 1, District 3, District 4, District 5, and the mayoral race in studio all this week. Today we will have District 1, Brent Molliver, the incumbent, and Barry Mansfield, who is running against Brent Molliver. They will be in at 10:30 to answer questions about what their thoughts of the future of the city of Ocala is. If you'd like to have some of those questions, you want to stick just late, get under the deadline, Tom at WOCA got to about 9:30 to get those questions in. But right now, brought to you by Palm Garden Health and Rehabilitation Center, Penn Flooring, and Just Ship. Galen Unall joins us from Live South. Galen, big week this week for the election if you listen to this show.
Yeah, and I think there's two that I'm really struggling with, and the first one is District 1, the incumbent Brent Molliver is facing some pretty stiff competition. So that's one I'm going to be listening to for sure. Because I'm torn because I like the fact that Brent, he's done some good things, but his last, let's say, 2 months in office so far have not been very good.
I will tell you that every person running for office, save for one, has committed to being on the show. I got one.
Really? Who said no?
Well, I'm going to save that for a little later.
Oh,
I was told that candidate did not. It was very busy, and that candidate did not have the time to make the show.
Well, then they're not good. Then he shouldn't win. I mean, if you're not going to take the opportunity to answer questions in this kind of a forum.
By the way, this candidate hasn't missed a forum at all. All the forums at night and everything that have been available, this candidate has went to every one of them. But this candidate is not coming to here because too busy. Got a busy week. Can't make it. Busy week. And I've afforded the opportunity to call in and everything. Can't do it. Too busy. Busy week.
Yeah, I will tell you, I have my ballot. I have to do the vote by mail just because it's very.
Are you or your loved one?
So basically, you're lazy, is what you're saying. You're lazy, is what you're saying.
No, yeah. And again, as much as I travel, I don't always have control over.
You're lazy.
When I'm going to be able to do it. A, B, my son's at Florida State, so I ordered all of them at the same time, so my whole family got them. And yeah, I mean
you're a big fan.
Looks to me.
You're a big fan of the way Joe Biden got elected. That's what you're saying. That's all you're saying.
Ballot. Well, first of all, the way we do it is completely different. I had to request a mail-in ballot, whereas the old ways they just mailed it to you randomly in some states, and there was no real proof that you ever got it.
By the way, not in some states. My wife's grandmother, who's been dead 14 years, that lived in Northport, Florida, got a ballot for the last presidential election without requesting it or anything, got a ballot in Northport, Florida. So it's in Florida, too. Happens in Florida as well.
that absentee ballot. I mean, I voted that way for decades.
Well, when
Really,
you were in the
once
military and
you
you're
know,
out on a ship and everything, that's the way you got to vote.
yeah, well, absolutely. And then even when I was up in Jacksonville, and that's how I would vote because there was just no way I could get to the poll on a Tuesday morning during election day, working in the media. That was our busiest day. So it just I you know I don't mind it. I never thought it was unsafe until I really looked at how they were doing it in the new way, where it wasn't even requested. Um, yeah, it's an issue, and especially the way you're registered to vote now. You're basically de facto registered to vote, um, and you could just say, yeah, I need a new fake ID, and yeah, go ahead and elect. Let's go ahead and allow me to vote. It's just I'm not for that. I believe in showing a photo ID. So.
Yeah, I believe in the photo ID as well, and and I don't, I want something with a picture on it so I can put a face to the name. That's just me.
Yeah.
I don't want your voter registration card showing up, or people say, well, I use my Social Security card. It clearly states on the bottom of the Social Security card not to be used as an identification card.
Correct.
Clearly states that on the bottom of the Social Security card. So I think this is a very important time for our city. I think it's a very important time for people to stop being apathetic about city politics and actually go out and vote. We have 33,000 registered voters in the city of Ocala, and about 5,000 show up for these elections.
Well, the interesting thing is the turnout is going to be really, really important for for the mayoral race.
Yes.
Right, because I really believe the turnout likely the incumbent loses, if that makes any sense at all.
What'd you say now? You broke up there.
The more voters that turn out for the mayoral race,
it is bad for the incumbent. Yes, that is bad for the incumbent.
That's correct. That's because and that's Corey's whole thing right now is she's trying to motivate a base that historically hasn't voted a lot in local elections, and she's trying to push all those buttons that she thinks the people of this city want to hear, and that are of a minority group. And I don't think any of what she's saying is true, but that's what she's saying. I mean, I'm a minority. I think I'm pretty well represented. She's a minority. We know she's incredibly well represented based on the amount of money that she's been able to give to any candidate that she feels like. I would love to, when you have her on, if she's not the one who didn't show up, ask her how she has been unrepresented in our political system. I'd love to hear her answer to that.
Yes.
Because that's what she's talked about historically is, I've been underrepresented. Tell me how. Tell me what access you don't have as a minority, because she's had tons of access to tons of different candidates from all over the country.
Yes, without a doubt. And by the way, just to put your fears at ease, when I asked Miss Manal Fakori, if she would take the invitation to be on my show, she said, certainly, look forward to it. I'll be there.
Yeah. I wouldn't expect anything
she is not the person that has decided they're too busy to be on the show.
And I if you were to, she to me would be the one who would show up first.
I had no doubt. No,
I do respect that.
She believes in her. She believes in her convictions, and she's not afraid to defend them. I respect her for that. Whether I agree with her politics or not, the fact that she has an agenda that she believes in, and she is well prepared to defend it and doesn't mind fighting for it. There's a little modicum of respect that you got to give her for that.
Of course, she's not running away and hiding from who she is and what she believes in, and I respect that. I think that's the way you should run. This is who I am. Let's lay it out, right? And then you can decide. And as a voter, I greatly appreciate that. Whereas there are some part of that city commissioners are hiding behind certain words that I think they think are important, like, oh, I'm born and raised here, or, I'm a conservative. And they're just using terms that are just terms, but you don't really know who they are. And so that's what I'm looking forward to, because I know you, Tom, and I know what you'll kind of ask, and I'm curious as to how they'll respond to that.
Well, here's the thing that gets me is the everybody that's decided to show up for this. Everybody knew when the first question I got. Matter of fact, let's go to break, and I'll tell you the question that every candidate asked me and the response I gave them, and I'll tell you, we'll go from there. We'll take a break right now. You're listening to Ocala Talks on 1370 AM, 96.3 FM. This is WOCA, The Source.
Are you or your loved one being released from a hospital and wondering how you'll manage? Inform your physician that you want to go to Palm Garden of Ocala at 2700 Southwest 34th Street for your rehabilitation. Palm Garden provides pain management, post-discharge follow-up, diabetic care, psychosocial support, and so much more. Plus, they even offer outpatient rehab. This award-winning care facility has a team of licensed professionals dedicated to enhancing your independence. Call 352-854-6262 today.
Are you wasting time boxing up packages and going to the post office or the UPS store? Are you tired of not knowing what you'll pay when you get there? Just Ship offers pickup service and flat rate packaging and postage rates, which takes the guesswork out of shipping while saving you time and money. So quit wasting valuable time and money. Call or text Just Ship at 352-234-3840. That's 352-234-3840. Just Shipped.
Hi, this is JP from Penn Flooring here in Ocala. I would like to invite you to come in and visit our spacious showroom where we have solutions for every style and budget. From wall-to-wall carpet to hardwood floors and tiles, we have an unsurpassed selection of flooring. At Penn Flooring, we've provided quality customer service with a family touch for over 25 years. Visit our website at pennflooring.com or come by our showroom, 1201 Southwest 17th Street, just over the bridge. Penn Flooring, quality customer service with a family touch.
It's Monday. Not sure how you did it, but you actually survived an entire 2 days without hearing from Tom. Good job to you. And once again, good luck.
Monday. It's the Monday of the week of candidates coming into the studio. And I'll tell you, Galen Unall joins us from Life South. He's brought to us by Palm Garden. We'd like to thank Palm Garden Health and Rehabilitation Center located at 2700 Southwest 34th Street. They offer skilled nursing, physical, occupational, and speech therapy. If you have any questions how they're handling the COVID-19 pandemic, give them a call at 352-854-6262. We'd also like to thank Penn Flooring, family-owned and operated. Serving Marion County for over 30-plus years, Penn Flooring owes every bit of their success to their unrivaled customer service. They have experience in both commercial and residential flooring. Go see their showroom at 1201 Southwest 17th Street here in Ocala. Give them a call, 352-351-3420. And, of course, Just Ship. They flipped the script on shipping. You don't have to put it in. You don't have to package it up. You don't have to go stand in those long, annoying lines at the UPS store, or the post office. All you do is contact Just Ship at justship.net. They'll come pick your item up. They'll package it up for you. They'll go stand in those annoying lines. They'll waste their time so you don't have to, saving you time and money. That's justship.net for all your shipping needs. Galen, back on the line with us. Galen, I'll tell you that all 15 candidates to a person asked the exact same question when I asked them if they would come on to answer questions on my radio show. I bet you could probably guess the first question they asked me.
Oh, yeah. What are the questions?
100%.
Yeah.
Every one of them, the first thing was, well, what are the questions? Do we get a copy of the questions? You know me. What do you think my answer was?
Nope. And that's what it should
nope.
be.
Nope.
CNN. This isn't CNN. Yeah.
Nope. You look, all you have to do is listen to my radio program. You can pretty much figure out what some of the questions are going to be. I think that's obvious. I think that's easy. So So, and I've got
Absolutely.
some questions from some listeners. I got 2 good questions from listeners. I'm still taking questions. 2 very good questions from listeners, actually. And so it's going to be, sometimes you got to be able to think off the cuff. And in those city council meetings, if you go to some of those city council meetings, I mean, they get presented stuff that they're seeing for the first time right there as the city staff presents it to them. So it's not a place where you get coached up. It's not a job where you can have stock answers. It's not a job where you can sit and be soft and fluffy and try to learn as you go. It's a hands-on job where you got to make quick decisions sometimes with information that you may have limited information on. You may be able to table it and look for later, but sometimes you can't. And that's the kind of thing that I want to see who can think on their feet, who can think for themselves, who doesn't have a campaign manager whispering in their ear, hey, here's the questions now. Remember what we went over. We've been doing this for 2 days. I don't want that kind of answer. I want somebody that's going to give me a genuine answer to a genuine question. Am I wrong?
No, and again, I think I know who.
Okay,
I'm
hold
gonna
on,
vote for and all, but-
stop real quick. Let me rewind that back. And grab it. Okay, got it. I got you saying that I was right. Okay, good. All right, perfect.
I know you're absolutely right.
I will. I will use that now when I know I'm wrong. But you're going to say I'm wrong. I'll just shut your mic down and play that clip. It'll be great.
Yeah, and again, as a voter, and I have a really good idea of who I'm going to vote for all but 2 of them. Right? There's a couple that are really, the voting for in District 4 is related to one of the candidates.
Wait. I didn't hear what you said. You broke up.
I said anybody who knows who they're voting for in District 4 is related to one of the candidates.
That's the only way. That's the only way you know.
Right now, I have a good feeling about
this.
Just
in. 2 more people just entered. 2 more people just entered the race for District 4.
Yeah, District 5. That's one that's an easy vote. I've known Jim Hilty for a long time, and he'll get my vote. By the way, here's a Jim Hilty story. I'm driving home the other day, and it's like 4:30 in the afternoon. It's 114 degrees, and he's up there on the side of 17th with a post hole digger, posting his own "Vote for Me" sign. So if you need to know anything about Jim, there you go. He's that kind of a guy. He's a hands-on guy. But but I will say District 3 is also pretty fascinating. Those are 3 guys who have been around for a long time, and it'll be curious how that one goes.
I think that District 3 is the one that is most intriguing to me, and it's because Jay Musley's done a good job as a city councilman, okay? He's had a few votes where I didn't agree with the way he voted. Most recently, the vote against firing Sandra Wilson. I thought that was a bad vote by Jay. But, he gets elected to make those decisions, and he made a decision. I think all in all, he's done a pretty good job as city councilman. I think he's erred a couple times in decision-making. And I think sometimes he thought that the public outcry, sometimes I think that's why he voted the way he did, because he didn't like he wouldn't like the public outcry if he voted another way.
That's correct.
So that's just my opinion of how that worked.
Yeah.
But I think Jay does a good job. I know Rusty really well. Rusty, businessman here for a very long time, very successful businessman. Sure. I do not know Ty Schlichter. I've met him a couple times. I do not know him. I know he's a contractor here in town. I do know that there was an incident last week on Facebook where he got pretty. Him and his wife got after some people pretty good on Facebook, and I'm to understand actually in person too, over what he deemed were erroneous comments made about him on Facebook. I'm not real sure that that's of the best ideals. So leave Facebook alone. If you see something on Facebook you don't like, just let it go. People on Facebook are bullies and warriors because they don't have to see you face to face. Sometimes you need to let that go, and that kind of caught me off guard about him. But it's one of those things where here's my issue with with some of the people running. We got an awful lot of contractors wanting to be part of this.
Yeah,
and
that's nothing new.
I know, but
right?
you get a big group of contractors all in there at one time. And then that gets you back to where you start going back towards contractor rule. And I remember when contractor and construction was the rule of this community. And then 2008 happened, and we almost went bankrupt.
Well, let's be clear. The biggest political players in this town are realtors and contractors. They just are. There was a time when it was churches, but I think churches have decided to become as neutral as possible.
But that's because of apathy. I'm almost certain.
No. I don't think. I think for the churches, I think it's just become.
No. I'm talking about how contractors and real estate agents have become the norm. If some of the people that owned horse farms, if some of the people that owned, well, yeah, but if some people that owned property or owned horse farms that are still inside the city limits wanted to, they could make their voices heard, but they have apathy. That's the biggest problem in our city is apathy.
I think.
The biggest problem in our city, though, Galen, is apathy. The apathetic voter going to the poll. That's the biggest problem in our city, as I see it.
We'll see. We'll see. But I think getting back to your point, I think you nailed both the issue with Jay Musley and Brent Oliver. Is they swayed to that public opinion, and they didn't want to be portrayed as somebody who was a racist, and I think that's why they voted the way they did. I don't think there's any bones about it. And maybe they felt strongly about it, but the way they portrayed themselves in that meeting is not ideal. So there you go.
Let's be honest.
I think that's why they're both being run against, because
100%. That's why they have.
If you would have said in March, right? No, they're going to run unopposed.
Of course. If either one of them vote to fire Sandra Wilson, they have no competition in the council race right now. None.
Well, even if there's never that, let's say that never happens, right? The fire chief stays.
They're still running unopposed.
They're still running unopposed, and that's and whether you agree with that or not, I mean that one decision was a measuring stick for those guys.
Look,
for a lot of people.
One decision cost Susie Heimbachel her position 8 years ago.
Absolutely.
Cost John McLeod his decision 6 years ago.
Correct.
Cost him his election 6 years ago. So Susie
Correct.
too,
for
6
me,
years
it's
ago.
the 7-Eleven. I'll be very clear. For me, it was the 7-Eleven. They could have postponed that vote and delayed it, but they chose not to. So I'll be voting because of that.
Well, I do remember a funny take by a citizen after a lot of the people from your neighborhood had got up and spoke. One citizen sauntered up to the counter, and I will, you can go back and look at the video and see who it is, but it was quite comical. He sauntered up to the podium, and he's Old Town Ocala, and he goes, "Well, we heard from a neighborhood got about 500, 600 people in it about this dadgum 7-Eleven." He goes, how many people live in that area right there? Probably about 6,000. Within a mile or two of that 7-Eleven. 600 of them don't want the 7-Eleven. 5,400 of them obviously do, or they'd be here saying they didn't want it. What the hell's the holdup? Just build the 7-Eleven. And I thought, that's why I love local politics. Because, by the way, a man who has a lot of influence in this town, and a man who could sway some people, but is just as normal and regular as the guy next door. You would never know who this man was or anything unless you knew him. And he just sauntered up to the thing, told you 6,000 people live in that area. 600 don't want the store. 5,400 obviously do. Build the damn store.
NIMBY, baby. That's all I can say. Not in my backyard. He doesn't live in my neighborhood. I know that you're talking about, because if he did, there wouldn't be a 7-Eleven.
No, he doesn't live in your he doesn't live in your neighborhood, sir, because your neighborhood isn't expensive enough for him to live in it.
That's correct. The gate just lifts up and down. There's
the gate lifts up and down. It does not open and close.
No, but again, I do hope people will vote in this election, and it'll be. I'll be fascinated. And by the way, people can, and I don't know if everybody knows this. You could go down to the supervisor of elections and watch the returns come in live.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And if you've never done that, wow, you would think it's you're at a one of those
national. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Oh yeah. The board's changing and
the way
everything.
People are going nuts. Yeah. and there's that one expert in the room who knows exactly what that means and which voting area that is, and those are the people you want to stand right next to.
We got to take a break. When we come back, we're going to switch gears and talk about football with Galen Unall after this timeout on 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, the Source.
Broadcasting from the Ocala International Airport, this is WOCA AM, W242CA FM, Ocala, 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, The Source.
Today in Ag News from the Southeast AgNet, the Environmental Protection Agency.
USA Radio News with Lance Pry.
A 2010 letter written by Osama bin Laden commanded al-Qaeda to specifically not target Joe Biden because his presidency would be a disaster for America. The letter was discovered at